In a quiet neighborhood, former Special Forces soldier Lawson is startled awake by the garbage truck, which is strange since it's a Tuesday. He jumps out of bed, grabs the trash and rushes outside to meet the garbage truck, but the garbage men, hitmen in disguise, gun Lawson down in his driveway. A few days later, another retired Special Forces soldier, Forestral, now a car salesman, is unknowingly giving a tour to one of the hitmen, Cook. Cook goes to sit inside a Cadillac while Forestral excitedly tells him about the features, but Cook suddenly starts the car, then drives into Forestral, ending him on the spot. Not long after, Cook blows up the third soldier, Bennett, as he sets sail on his fishing boat. We then meet former U.S. Special Forces Colonel John Matrix, now living a quiet life up in his cabin with his daughter Jenny, spending his days being a good dad, teaching her karate, taking her fishing, regular dad stuff. One morning though, as they settle in for breakfast, their quiet morning is interrupted by the sound of an army chopper which passes dangerously close overhead. Jenny instantly knows what this means and begs her dad not to leave again, but John promises he's going nowhere. Out of the chopper steps Major General Franklin Kirby, along with two soldiers. He approaches the house calling for John when John suddenly appears behind him and disarms him playfully.
Got a warrant?
Very funny.
Kirby tells John about the assassination of his former teammates. As for the culprits, it could be any one of the many enemies John has made over the years, and warns that he could be next on the hit list. So Kirby leaves his two soldiers behind to protect John and Jenny. As soon as the buzzing of the chopper dies down, John picks up movement, then quickly grabs Jenny and escapes as hitmen open fire on them. One soldier is immediately eliminated while the other covers with John. After the gunfire, John sends Jenny to hide while he goes to grab weapons from a secret room inside the shed. When he gets back to the house, he finds the last soldier dead. Inside, a mercenary tells him Jenny has been taken, and if he wants her back he needs to cooperate with them, but John has no intention of dealing with them and shoots the man dead.
Wrong.
He spots two cars racing away from the compound and rushes to his truck only to find that the men have disabled it. This doesn't slow him down, and John pushes the truck over the hillside and jumps inside, allowing it to free run down the hillside. He rolls past the convoy on his way down twice, missing the cars completely. The truck finally crashes, but John manages to escape before it explodes. The mercenaries manage to restrain John, holding him at gunpoint, but then Bennett himself steps out, revealing his death was a ruse. He secretly hated John for throwing him out of the unit and always wanted his payback, and shoots John with a tranquilizer dart. When John wakes, he's strapped to a table with chains. Then the mastermind behind the entire plot reveals himself. Arias, a former dictator of the South American country Val Verde, whom John had helped remove from power. Now he wants his country back and plans to force John to overthrow the current President Velasquez, using the fact he is acquainted with the new president to get close. John refuses, so the men reveal a bound Jenny, with Bennett threatening to personally put her down. Arias promises to hand her over if he complies, or mail her to him in pieces if he fights back, and John is forced to stand down and comply. Meanwhile, Kirby and a team return to John's home to find the bodies there, but no sign of John. Bennett drops John at the airport with two thugs, Sully and Enriquez, to ensure he gets on and off the plane. Bennett thinks he's done for, but John promises that he will be back and get his revenge. Sully and Enriquez escort John through the airport. Sully jokes that while John is away he'll take good care of Jenny, but John promises to kill him last, and Enriquez's smile disappears. John and Enriquez soon board the plane and go to take their seats, but John already has a plan. As they settle in, John asks an attendant for a pillow and a blanket. As the plane begins to move, John suddenly knocks Enriquez out and breaks his neck, then props him up like he's sleeping. John then pretends to have a restroom emergency, but takes the staff elevator down into the baggage area. From there he gains access to the plane's landing gear, climbs down onto the wheels, then as the plane begins to lift, John lets go and lands in a nearby swamp. He has 11 hours before the plane lands in Val Verde, so John sets his timer and starts racing back to the airport. Sully reports to Arias, who's on board a boat about to set sail. He's looking forward to regaining power in his country, reassuring Jenny that she'll reunite with her dad very soon. But Jenny is looking forward to John kicking his ass. Inside the airport, Sully starts hitting on a beautiful air hostess named Cindy, unaware that John has already made it back into the airport and has spotted him. Cindy blows Sully off.
Sounds like you need a date.
Well, I don't.
Oh,
But he can't take no for an answer and follows her back to her car.
hey.
She begs him to leave her alone, so Sully insults her and storms off to his car. As Cindy is about to leave, John suddenly appears behind her, forcing a scared Cindy to follow Sully as he leaves the parking garage. She's scared John is going to kill her, but he reassures her he will do her no harm. With no choice, she introduces herself and learns John is a retired colonel.
That mean like my taxes pay you a pension?
Wondering what the hell she got herself into. Sully stops at a mall, so John follows him inside, taking Cindy along with him. He explains that his daughter has been kidnapped. He can't get too close to Sully without being spotted, so he wants Cindy to lure him over. She can't even process what is going on, but John begs her to help, so she agrees. Sully enters a restaurant to collect some Val Verde passports, so Jenny enters after him, but there she alerts a cop to John, warning that he's a kidnapper. The cops then begin to coordinate to take John down.
One gigantic mother.
They approach and try to restrain John, but John fights them off. The commotion draws Sully's attention, and he's shocked to see John still alive. He races to a phone booth to alert Arias, but John gets there, flips the phone booth with his raw strength. Sully escapes as the cops try but fail to restrain John once more. Cindy also redeems herself by stopping a cop about to open fire at John. Sully jumps into an elevator. John quickly catches up, but cops stall him, allowing Sully to escape in his car. John jumps into Cindy's car, but Cindy catches up with him at the front of the mall and jumps in. She's so in deep now that the cops will definitely be after her and demands an explanation, but John refuses. John starts cutting up traffic to catch up to Sully. He eventually catches up and starts trying to run Sully off the road. He responds by opening fire, but John is persistent and Sully ends up crashing. John drags him from the overturned car, demanding Jenny. Sully refuses to talk, so John picks him up and holds him over the edge. Sully tries to bargain with his life, but John has already found a motel key on him, so he drops him over the cliff's edge to his death. Cindy's car is totaled, so John rolls Sully's car onto its wheels before he and Cindy take off. Arias, Bennett, and Jenny soon arrive on an island off the coast named San Nicolas, suspecting that everything is going according to plan. John finally explains everything to Cindy, and how he must get Jenny before the thugs realize what he is up to. Jenny means a lot to him, as he wasn't around when she was born nor there when her mother died in childbirth. He missed a lot of her life being deployed overseas while in the army, so now he's determined to make things right. Arias gets to his mansion on the island and locks Jenny inside a room. John and Cindy get to the motel, where she decides to help John get Jenny back. They find the room Sully's key opens. It's empty, so they start looking around, when suddenly there's a knock at the door. John hides while Cindy answers the door, only to see Cook there asking for Sully. He demands to be let in, but there John attacks and disarms him. Cook reveals he's a Green Beret, but John isn't scared. John beats him down. Cook goes for his gun, but John evades and kicks him into another room. Cook finally holds him at gunpoint, but his gun is out, and John gives him a brutal beating, resulting in Cook being impaled on a table leg. Cook dies, so John takes his car key. Inside Cook's car, Cindy finds a receipt for an airplane refueling depot which supplied fuel to a warehouse downtown, so they take Cook's car and head there. They soon arrive at the seemingly abandoned warehouse and break in. John sends Cindy to wait for his signal before breaking in, only to find it busy with men moving weapons and military equipment. John sneaks around, avoiding the patrolling men. He enters a back room and takes out a lone man there, before helping Cindy through the window. There's no plane inside and no sign of Jenny or Arias. John then spots a map and coordinates sitting on a table nearby, and after working them out, he identifies San Nicolas Island and where the transport plane is being hidden. Now knowing where Jenny is being held, John plans to get himself some weapons, as he knows the upcoming fight will be intense. He drives to a surplus store and uses a bulldozer to break inside. With Cindy's help, he begins gathering gear, then finds the armory inside a secret room. They grab a whole bunch of weapons and ammunition. Cindy goes to load some items into the car, but before John can exit the store, he is arrested by 2 cops and thrown into a transport. Cindy follows the transport truck closely, then pulls up alongside when they get to a stoplight. The cops inside find her innocent face attractive and flirt with her. They pull off, but in the rear view they see Cindy pull a rocket launcher, the rocket hitting the underside of the truck, causing it to flip. John quickly recovers and jumps into the car. Arias and Bennett are still confident that everything is going according to plan, with their own plans to eliminate Jenny as soon as John lands in Val Verde. John and Cindy infiltrate the marina where the plane is located and take out a lone guard. They locate the amphibian plane, but 2 armed men in a jeep spot them and open fire. John leaves Cindy to get the plane started, then returns fire on the men. After much difficulty, Cindy manages to get the plane started, and John takes out the jeep. The 2 soon get airborne. Kirby shows up to the surplus store, and he knows that a war is coming. John requests to talk with Kirby over the radios, but the nearby Coast Guard responds, warning them to turn back or risk being shot down as they are flying over restricted airspace. John cannot turn back now, so Cindy decides to fly the plane close to the water to hide from the military's radar. Meanwhile, Jenny removes the lock from her door, using it to dig at the wooden walls, trying to make an escape route. Bennett doesn't think much of Arias' soldiers, reminding Arias that John will come after him once he completes the mission, and he's the only person saving him from John. But Arias thinks he's the one who's afraid. Bennett makes it clear he's not stupid. He knows how dangerous John is, which is why he has his daughter. John and Cindy soon arrive at San Nicolas Island and land off the coast. At the same time, the flight to Val Verde lands with Enriquez's body on board. John prepares to head toward the island, leaving Cindy to broadcast a message to Kirby once the action gets started. John lands on the beach and gets geared up, ready to go to war for his daughter. John starts moving towards the structures. At the same time, 2 thugs get to the Val Verde airport waiting for John to get off the plane, but only see Sully's body. They quickly alert Arias, and upon hearing this he orders Bennett to eliminate Jenny. John makes it to the first building and starts taking out unsuspecting soldiers while planting explosives. John is soon spotted and comes under heavy attack, but sets off the planted explosives, decimating the responding men. Bennett hears the explosions and knows it's John. He goes to get Jenny only to find she's escaped the room, so he goes after her. John continues taking out soldiers, blasting his way into the compound. Cindy makes the call to Kirby as John starts taking on the guards inside the compound, dropping them with rapid gunfire and grenades, using everything in his arsenal. He barely dodges a grenade attack, leaving him with injuries, so he takes cover inside a shed. Soldiers rip the structure with bullets. When the soldiers come to check, though, John starts taking them out with gardening tools and machetes before grabbing another belt-fed machine gun and turning the compound into a graveyard. Jenny escapes into a boiler room with Bennett on her tail, with a blade in hand. John breaks into the main building calling for Jenny, but only runs into more soldiers. Arias then opens fire on him and the 2 trade bullets, engaging in a running gun battle through the mansion. But very soon John manages to blast him, finally cutting down Arias. John then hears Jenny's voice and races toward the basement. Jenny is hiding when John enters the basement calling for her. Jenny steps out, but Bennett grabs her. He then finds John and shoots him in the arm, forcing him to take cover. Bennett promises to make his death quick with a bullet, but John steps out with his blade. He begins taunting Bennett to have a man-to-man combat and not be scared, and Bennett, having his ego hurt, pushes Jenny aside and tosses his gun. He swears he will kill John and attacks with a blade, managing to slash John across the stomach, taunting him that he's getting old. John doesn't respond with words, but slashes Bennett across the hand. The 2 end up falling into another room, where they start attacking each other with anything they can get their hands on. Bennett tries pushing John into an open furnace, but fails. He starts beating on a weakened John, but John gathers his strength and beats him back. Bennett pulls a gun, but before he can get a shot off, John throws a pipe through his chest, killing him. A while later, Kirby and the army arrive, only to find the entire island decimated and John walking out with Jenny in his arms. Kirby wishes John would return and restart his old unit, but John just wants a quiet life. He then reunites with Cindy, and they take off in the plane. That's it for today's recap. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more insane movie stories. YouTube thinks you'll love the video on screen, so click to enjoy.